Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Revere School Committee. Please rise to salute the flag. Roll call of the members.
Mr. Ferranti?
Here.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Here.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Here.
Mr. Sinella? Ms. Ty?
Here.
Mr. Visconti?
Here.
Mayor Arrigo?
Here. Before we begin, I just want to make a point of personal privilege. As was noted in the attendance of tonight's meeting, Mr. Sinella is not with us tonight due to an illness in the family. Our thoughts and prayers are with Fred and his family during this very difficult time, and we look forward to having him back in our graces. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we have a few presentations to present tonight. We have some teachers and parents who are here representing the Revere Public Schools and our CPAC. We have students who are here to present a video that they made and some of the work that they did in memorializing the student showcase that was held during Revere, our celebration of the city of Revere in May. In particular, the student showcase, which was on May 7th. It was an awesome night. And then I have just a quick update on my goals. So we're going to start with, I'm going to ask that Enza Goodwin, Frank Collins, and Jen Duggan come up, and they're going to share with us some incredible work that our CPAC and the public schools have done, particularly around autism awareness. And I just want to say thank you to them myself, because the work that these people do on behalf of our kids is just incredible. And it's hundreds of hours beyond their workday, beyond, what people would say is expected. And it just does so much for the kids. I know how much the kids appreciate it. And we thank you not only for helping those kids, but helping the rest of the community be more aware of how they can help those kids. So I'll toss it to you.
So we want to begin by saying that Peter Del Greco couldn't be here tonight, so he was hoping to be here, but he couldn't make it. So we're going to speak on his behalf. Jen and I share some similarities, and we discovered that a couple years back in that we each have a child with autism. And what we found was that the education that they were getting through the school was amazing. But beyond that, we were struggling to find programs available for our kids. We also have other children who are thriving in the community, both academically and in sports. So we felt like we needed to get something started for our other kids, and that's kind of where this began. We started with a small weekly playgroup meeting. Parents could come out with their kids, and from there we have built on to what we felt was an amazing April. With the help of Jackie Roy, who spearheaded the t-shirt and hoodie sales, we were very successful in raising over $9,000. With that, we ran a walk that was in April, and we raised about $4,500, and some more funding is still coming in. So at this point, we're at nearly $15,000. In addition to that, we run an April calendar of events, many of which are free, right here in Revere, that children and their families can participate in. Do you want to?
I'd like to add as well that we're in the process of also creating a calendar for the month of July and August for the summer program to try to extend more activities after school, because a lot of these kids have to go the extended school year. So we're coming up with some stuff during the day and then trying to do some stuff at night so we can try to get more families to attend, parents work. So we're trying to do things more at night. And then also on our last CPAC meeting in June, I believe it's June 7th. Is it 7th? No, sorry, June 13th. We're going to hold open elections for president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So if there's anybody that wants to be involved, please let us know, and we'll add you to the ballot, and if we can try to get as many people out to come out and vote, too, for the positions. And I know myself, Enza, Frank, Jackie, and Peter want to thank everybody for all their support. We really appreciate it, and we want to just do more.
Yeah, I think the key piece is this is all volunteer-driven. We're not getting paid anything, we're not taking any stipends. This is all in our free time, what we're planning and doing. So all these April events, all these July and August events, they're in our free time. We're organizing them, we're running them. But it does come with the support of the community, and I think that's our big takeaway, is that this really has become a community effort. This is the school district, volunteers, families, people have come together and have supported us both financially and with their volunteer time. In the fall, looking ahead, we're looking to expand our Special Olympics program. We have a nice partnership with Special Olympics. We've run a young athletes program, we've run a soccer program, and we're looking to now offer a flag football program. Yeah. So we have a lot going on. It's a lot of time, a lot of energy, but it's worth it.
Thank you.
Mrs. Rizzo.
Can you just let all of us in the viewing audience know some of the programs that you've supported this past summer and you're hoping to bring back this summer?
So for the, so last year's extended school year program, we tried to offer, Dr. Vidala helped spearhead, we tried to have a different program each day. We're scaling back because what we found was a lot of the parents didn't have transportation to get their kids to and from. So what we're looking to do this summer is to maximize our Monday afternoons, right when the program ends. The programs will take place at the Beachmont School. We're hoping to have a partnership with the Recs Department, so I'm not sure if they know that just yet, but that's the plan.
They do.
All right, they do know. And we planned on having Animal Craze come back out and Curious Creatures. So that would be hands-on for the kids to interact with the different animals. On the Wednesday nights, that would not be part of the school department. We would be running those, and we're hoping to have like a beach meetup or a playground meetup, things along those lines. So those would be things we'd be running on our own, all free to the community and taking place locally.
Any other members? Ms. Ty?
Well, I just want to say congratulations, because I remember the first event that you held, and all those kids were moving around down at the Matoa post down there. Not the new one, but the old one.
Yep.
And what a wonderful time they were having. And then to see how far you have progressed. It's hard work. It's very hard work, and I appreciate all that you have done, and I commend you for it, and thank you. And very proud of you. Thank you.
Ms. Cravlisi.
Thank you again. You guys are great. But my question to you is, for some people who, do want to get involved because, they do have children that want to be involved with, but they don't know how, where would they find your July calendar? You can let the viewing audience know.
It will be on the Revere Public Schools website.
Okay.
Yes, it will be there, and also we do have the Revere We have a Revere CPAC Facebook page as well, and like Dr. Kelly said, it will be on the Revere Schools website. Oh, and I'm sorry, too. In the flyer, we're in the process of creating a flyer, so we're able to send those home to the families while the kids are in school. We're going to try to get it out before the school ends this year, and then they can plan ahead.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Franti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There you go. I just want you to let us know that when you start your events in the fall, with the football and the soccer, we'll be glad to help out. So if you notify us all, and if we can help you out financially, I'm sure we're glad to help you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Visconti.
I just want to echo the rest of the committee's responses and say congratulations. It's such an achievement. It's, the fundraising alone takes so much work. And I know that firsthand. So I can't say enough of kudos to all of you for putting in the time. And like you said, you're doing it on your own time, and there's something to say for that. So congratulations, and just keep up the great work. And if there's anything that we can do to move it along and assist, please let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just very quickly, on behalf of the city, obviously, you've heard from all the members of the school committee and how important your work has been, but I can't say enough about the commitment that you have and the time and energy and effort that you've put into this, and kind of being a new mayor and having ideas kind of thrown at us, and Ms. Gravellisi knows from her son's involvement in my office and how impassioned he was about getting the Commission on Disabilities up and running, and kind of reinvigorating that board, and which you guys are a part of, and just really creating the synergy that we have between the school district and the recreation department and all of the great things that are happening in the city, to be able to have parents and people who are involved, engaged, and care on this level. You can see the incredible amount of work that's been done in just a couple of years. I know that the sky is the limit, but you guys have done incredible work, and it's because of that time, energy, commitment that you've had and you've put into it that we're a better city. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can I just add one more thing?
Dr. Kelly.
So I just wanted to clarify, because I know that I spoke a lot about April and Autism Awareness Month, and you guys did as well, because it's been a culminating, highlighting event for the year. But I do want to make sure that the parents at home know that all parents of kids with any kind of special needs are welcome to join the CPAC and to participate in all of these activities and events. It's open to all kids with special needs, so regardless of what they're dealing with, what their challenges are.
Just one more. So we're also selling T-shirts and hoodies again until Monday. So if there's anybody watching who's interested, please get in touch with us, because this will probably be it, I would imagine, until next year.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great work.
So the next thing I want to do is introduce two of our awesome Revere High School students, Anastasia Yim and Anthony Hull, who are going to talk to us about the work they did through Mr. Amato's internship and videotaping and capturing the spirit and the history of the student showcase from last month. So I'll invite you guys up first if you want to say a couple words, and then we can show the video. You let me know when you're ready.
So the creation of this entire video, it was a pretty long, fairly long and tedious process to try and capture the entire showcase and the production of students and their interactions with each other. But I feel like we've captured it fairly well, so we hope you like it, and we're ready.
Right now we're trying to design the shirt to like promote the event, or like helping the event to guide people to the different stations that the showcase is gonna have.
Yeah, and the shirts are basically just like if someone's lost or something, like they can see that our shirts say "Ask me" or something. If they have a question, they can come up to us and personally ask. Like if we speak Portuguese or like if we're Hispanic or something, they can come up to us and ask in like a certain language so they understand better.
We're gonna try to make a social media account because social media is so like popular nowadays, and we're also gonna make like posters around the school, like frequently visited places around the school.
I am personally in the newspaper club, and we are doing our own showcase presentation, and we just want to show them the improvements we made on the website and what our plan is for the newspaper in the school. So we wanted the parents to see what's going on, you know? It's building a framework for understanding and building and working in groups to show what you've done. And it's almost magical to see all the kids come together and they're like, remember we did this and we did that and this is how we got it done.
The planning for the showcase kind of like teaches you like leadership and like how to work with others. Yeah, working in group. Yeah, gives you like communication skills with like people outside your normal like friend group.
So first we grab the stems and we put tape around them, so we have the actual shape. Like you can see right here, there's an arrow, and then we put them like right here. But we have some fabric paint, and we spread it around and we pass it through it, and then basically that's what we do. So yeah.
I made a video game with a program that I just learned how to use about 2 weeks ago. I mean, I really like to play Galaga, and like when I went to arcades, and you know that kind of gave me the inspiration for it.
My name is Joshua Young.
And I'm Justin Lumpkin.
And we are part of the Revere High School robotics team, the Neutrons, and this is the robot that we built this year. The goal of this robot was to shoot those yellow wiffle balls into a high goal target to score as many points as possible and compete against other robots in that competition. The team also cares a lot about giving back to the community and doing a lot of community outreach, such as this demo that we're doing today. We've demoed with this robot many times before at Hub Week in Boston for the robot block party and for the Revere Beach Sandcastles. So we care a lot about giving back and showing the community what robotics can do, what you can do through STEM, and what you can do through technology.
So right here, this is the science team, and what we're doing is we're taking strawberries and we're extracting the DNA from them by putting them through several kind of tests.
My showcase is, my job of this is making ravioli and showing other people how to make the ravioli. And then it's about Italian food and cuisine because that's what we most recently learned in Italian.
We're the Revere High School Speech and Debate team, and what we're really presenting is kind of all of our progress and what we've really done throughout this year. The board shows pictures of a lot of us with trophies, a lot of us attending tournaments and competing among various different events, whether it's performing events or debate events or storytelling events.
And our hope through presenting this is that we hope to have newcomers join the club, since we are having around 5 seniors leave next year. And I think that if we are able to present our accomplishments, and not only our accomplishments, but the sense of community that speech and debate has, then we'll definitely be able to get new people, such as freshmen. We've had a lot of people come up to us and say that they have interest in what we're talking about here. And we have events that are essentially for everyone. We have poetry events, we have this group discussion in student congress, those that are accustomed to those who enjoy debating with other people and having their platform really heard.
Okay, we're all from the freshman Chinese class, and we're here at the showcase showing all the freshman projects that we did in Chinese throughout the whole year. And with the Chinese, like with all these Chinese projects, we were like trying to talk about like ourselves and like how to express like each other's personalities, like what we like and what hobbies we have, like the people in our lives, like our fathers, and like we made a family tree of all of that too.
We think that it's very important for students to be able to express, the way they view things. Everyone has a different perspective on certain, norms or certain things in society. And we felt like having a case could be something that could represent that. So when you have a case, everyone's going to have a different perception of how that case goes. So whether you're in prosecution or if you're in defense, you're going to be able to see things in different ways. And we think it's important because we want to attract students from any grade to be able to come to this type of team, club, and be able to understand that you can have a different perception of things. And being on this, you can be able to be, very strong in that opinion. Also, it's very important to understand how to speak in a public environment. And a lot of us also can sit here today and tell you that we were very shy and very nervous when we were talking. But being able to go into such a club like such, you get to kind of break out of that shell and understand how you can speak and how to project your voice. So I think it's very important for every student to understand that. Okay, so this is the newspaper club. Instead of calling it newspaper club, we decided to change it to the Patriots Voice. The reason why we changed the name is because we actually wanted to make the community have a voice, and we created this thing called Ask Iris, and we just really wanted to promote it and talk about what everyone else is going through, not only people like that speak English, but everyone that's like ELL students. It is in different languages, so when you don't speak English, you could respond to Spanish or Arabic or Chinese, and we will then translate it and put it in our website, which is right here. The reason why we had the newspaper club really get stronger is because we wanted the community in RHS itself and outside of RHS to get stronger and to people to really get familiarized with what's going on around them.
So this is our capstone project slash presentation on our Model UN trip to New York City, where we went to the actual UN and participated in the National High School Conference.
And the reason why I feel like Model UN is really important is because we're able to really understand many different global perspectives and many different perspectives in general about different types of people that we have in this world. So because of that, we are able to build community through many people that have different perspectives and different outlooks on things. And we're able to bring that to Revere High School by collaborating with people with different perspectives as well. So this is called the Self-Effective Kindness. What we did was that in December, our advisory went to a nursing home called the Lighthouse in Mountain Avenue. And what we did was that we sang Christmas carols, we played bingo, charades, we just spent time with them, talked about, their past, shared with them, and we just learned that it's a good thing to be a part of the community, that seeing the smiles on the faces of the seniors was awesome because they don't really get visitors. So basically we got together with the Muslim Student Association and Stronghold Club, which is a Christian club at our school, and we decided to do a blanket drive because both of our groups believe in spreading love and peace, and we wanted to serve our community.
I feel like it really united me with the community because all sorts of people went to help out, to help people who were in need.
That's basically what we did, and we got a thank you note, which was really cute, from a family who received a blanket. They just thanked us for keeping them warm during the winter, and it really showed there was an impact to what we were doing. So yeah.
Thank you guys so much for that. So as you could see from the video, aren't they amazing? And they planned it all and edited and put it together, did the filming, edited. So great job.
Yeah, actually, there are 3 of us that that worked on this entire project. One of us is missing. They couldn't make it to the meeting, unfortunately. Their name is Josue Martinez. But we all worked very hard on this. There was a lot of footage to go through, and honestly, it was really great participating in the showcase itself. I really loved going around, seeing all the types of clubs and internships that we had at the school, which a few of them I didn't know we had, but it was a great experience.
Great job, guys. Any members? Mrs. Rizzo.
I think something like this production would be great to show the freshman class coming in, because like you just said, I also heard at the capstone programs and from the leadership programs that a lot of students do not know what clubs there may be for the students. So maybe you can work something out with Dr. Garcia, and this can be shown when they do the freshman orientation. And that way they have some idea of what's going on and the great work that you all do. So thank you. You did an amazing job and love seeing it. Love to see more.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Any other members? Ms. Chai.
Well, the showcase itself was phenomenal. I mean, there was so much, and so much to be proud of that your heart would sort of swell up as you moved from one to the other, because they were so spectacular. And and sometimes I think, wow, these kids can do so much more than in a generation before them. And so I'm sure you must have had some difficulty in trying to think, well, how can we get it all in? And I know that editing is very difficult, since I've tried unsuccessfully to do it many times. So I congratulate you. And I think that's a great idea, Stacy, to show it to the freshmen so that they would know that too. So congratulations, and thank you very much for coming and letting us enjoy it one more time here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other members? I'll just say that, aside from even the freshmen, I think everyone in the community needs to see that showcase. That just encapsulates exactly what is happening in the district and in the school, and to see all the great things that are happening here. I think everyone needs to see that, and having a well-done video like that should be shown on Revere TV over and over again, so that everyone can see for themselves exactly what is happening, the great things that are happening here in Revere High School. So thank you. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right. The next item on our agenda is the superintendent's goals update. Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, so this is the time of year when we start to talk again about the district goals that we had established last summer, and the progress that we're making on the goals as a district. And so I just wanted to share some information with everybody on that. And I did do an update in November to give an initial progress report. And so here, this is a follow-up to that November meeting. So the first of our goals is our assessment of an assessment for student learning. And at the November update, just to orient everybody who might not have all of these action steps right at the front of their memory, we had already completed several parts of the goal, including the pieces of the first action step around sharing core beliefs, and providing professional development for teachers and administrators on grading and assessment. And then also the fourth action step we had done a lot of work on, and we had completed the piece about making the Student Thinking Visible program and the MCIEA work that we were doing. The work in progress that we hadn't yet completed in November, but I've identified in green here because we have since completed it, includes work on action step 2. And that was to refine the K-2 standards-based report card, to work with parents and other stakeholders to explore the expansion of the report cards beyond grade 2, and to identify power standards for grades 3 through 5 that we thought would have the most impact on student achievement. And so we have worked on the K-2 report card. We had a grading team of teachers from all 6 elementary schools work on a committee all year long. And in fact, they're scheduled to present to the school committee in June to share all of their work. We also met with parents at our December PTO meeting and received feedback from them on what they thought about the idea of expanding the standards-based report card through 5th grade. And they were able to provide us with some valuable feedback that shaped that work, so that was very helpful. And the curriculum team is right now working with principals to develop a communication strategy, and what they're talking about doing is having a meeting in each of the elementary schools where parents from that school could come and hear more about the different initiatives around grading at the elementary level. And when I get into what's happening in the middle schools, the same thing there as well. We also made some progress on our third action step. There are 2 bullet items here that are still in yellow, meaning that we need to do more work on those. But we did complete 2 more action steps, and that was piloting the habits of work document at the middle school and the high school level, and then refining the habits of work document using feedback from the teachers and the students who piloted those in the classroom. And that's more work that will be shared at the June school committee meeting. And we did have some parent input. The teachers who piloted the habits of work document in the middle school and the high school have had the opportunity to collaborate with the parents of their students and get feedback from them and see what they thought of it. So far, it's very positive. As I said, they have made some refinements during the course of the year. The pilot went very well, and the plan is to roll it out for 6th grade classrooms next year, and then 7th grade classrooms the following year, and 8th grade classrooms the year after that, so that by the 2020-2021 school year, we will have all middle schools, all kids in all middle schools will be having a habits of work assessment alongside the grade that describes their progress and the discipline associated with those grades. Seacoast has also done a pilot this year, and they're ready to implement next year. They're working with their teachers and students right now to determine exactly how they want to roll that out. And we're also working with our IT people to figure out how we can try to, if possible, create an electronic version of the habits of work that would sit alongside a report card, and parents could check in on that through the parent portal in Power School, just like they do to see what the quiz grades were and whether or not the homework's completed and, things of that nature. So we'll have more on this at our June meeting. And I know that the committees also hope to share more of this with the parents through those school-based meetings I talked about a minute ago. Second goal, of course, is building community. And just a reminder that in November, we had already completed a lot of the work we had planned on action step 1 and 2. And there are some highlights of that there on the screen. There was still work in progress at that time. And so as an update, we have completed some of the action steps from action step 1 and action step 2. And so in terms of the first one, we did complete the student showcase in May. We estimate that we had about 500 to 600 people or families represented at the showcase. And the 2 students who just presented did an awesome job talking about that. The video that they created was for a project they were doing through their internship at Revere High School. So the video focused more on the high school work, but we did have, for those who attended, we had presentations from all of the elementary and middle schools as well. And I want to thank Dr. Mokaba, who did all of the coordination for that night. And she worked a lot with Dr. Garcia and Yerlin, who's our parent liaison at the high school, and several teachers, June Krinsky-Rutter, the school librarian at the high school. I should stop saying names because I'm going to forget somebody. Wee Ping Judice was one of them. But there were a lot of great people. We had parents who cooked food that night and were able to share some aspects of their culture and their community with other parents. The kids were amazing. They were the best part of the whole thing, from kindergartners all the way up to 12th graders. The kids were just amazing, and the presentations they did and the practice of giving a presentation and speaking to different audiences, I think will serve them well as they go through college and beyond. So we're very proud of that. On our second action step, we had committed to working with the mayor's office to identify ways to expand opportunities in community school. This is an ongoing project for both the city and the school department, so there's still work to be done there. But 2 things that we were able to add this year that didn't exist in the past. One is a satellite office for the neighborhood developers, who are working with some of our families to ensure that they are registered for any social service assistance that they are qualified for and need help with. So we're hoping to engage more families and help them get whatever needs met that they have. We also added Arabic to the language offerings this year, which has been very popular. So it's definitely a work in progress, but I would say that we have accomplished that planned action step of increasing offerings through the community school. The third action step for the building community goal is still in progress, and there's some work to do here. We are in the process of developing a parent survey. We had a baseline survey that we used with parents through the CPAC organization that spoke about school culture, and we're going to use that and expand on it to create a more formalized parent survey that we hope to have loaded on the website by June 14th. And then we'll be encouraging parents in the last couple of weeks of school to complete that survey so that we can have their perspective on what they think about the culture of our schools. We do have the MCIEA data, which is surveys from students and teachers that speak to school culture and belief systems, and that we anticipate we're going to have that data back in the next week or so. The missing link is getting the information from the parents on how they feel, and then we'll be able to merge all of that data and, of course, share it with the community on the website, which will be a next key step for us once we have all the data culled. Our third primary goal is around teaching all students. And just a reminder that as of November, we had made some progress on several of our plans. We had the pilot ELL program at Garfield Elementary School fully developed and staffed, and we're in the process of implementation. Dr. Mokaba, again, had worked with Mr. Mogavero, who's our Director of English Language Learner Services, had worked together to check on staffing schedules and caseloads to ensure equity across the district. They did a lot of work in that regard. And, of course, with the support of this school committee, which I know the teachers are very thankful for, we were able to begin the pilot of the colleague-to-colleague program. And that's been a tremendous success as well. In our second action step, which focused on teacher and administrator training, there were a number of planned trainings which we did implement. In terms of progress since November, I have one more completed, and that was making sure that we had 3 new schools lined up for the training through the Mass Consortium for Innovative Educational Assessment. In progress, or progress that we've made since November, I'll first highlight the implementation of the new program exit criteria, and this is again for English language learners. We got our access scores back yesterday, and Mr. Mogavero is working with all of the principals and the new guidelines from DESE on exit criteria to assess that data and identify which students are ready to either move up a level or move out of English language learner services. I highlighted in yellow, again, analyzing the data on the school culture surveys for the same reason that I just mentioned. We don't quite have the data, so I can't claim that as a completed step at this point. And then for the third action step, we were able to increase the number of capstone projects. I'm really proud of this, really proud of the high school team who worked a lot with more kids to help them understand the benefits of a capstone. And I think if you talk to any of the students who participate in capstone projects, every one of them will tell you how valuable an experience it was and how much more they got out of it than they would have writing a book report or even doing a research paper, or, you know, some of the more traditional means of assessment that we have. Last year, we had 14 students who engaged in 10 capstone projects. This school year, we had 150 students engaged in 21 capstone projects. So we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction. Really proud of that statistic. We also had pledged to spend this year taking a look at the portfolio requirements at Revere High School and identifying things that some of the kids were complaining that the portfolio wasn't working for them. And so we worked with a team of students and teachers to take another look at that. And one of the decisions the school has made is that they're going to move away from the Richer Picture, which is the online platform that houses kids' portfolio entries. And the team of teachers and students is actually working with Rich Anastas, who has a new title in the district, and part of his responsibility is creating in-house platforms, and he's actually going to develop a software program that the kids and teachers will use. An added bonus to the district is that we're no longer paying a usage fee, a storage fee, and a membership fee to Richer Picture. So it's a savings of tens of thousands of dollars to the district, but also can be designed in a way that it addresses gaps that students and teachers perceived in the program that we were purchasing. So we're excited about that. In terms of engaging new partnerships with local colleges and universities, we have 2 main projects that we implemented this year that we didn't have previously. The first one is the Gateway to College. We have 5 students who were, we feared were in danger of dropping out of school. And we were able to work with them and with their parents and in a really unique, hand-selected way. And all 5 of those students have successfully completed their first year of dual enrollment. They did all of their coursework at North Shore Community College, and they've all, right now, earned their high school credits that they needed and earned college credit at the same time. So we're really proud of that. It was a small pilot this year with just 5 students, but we see hope to engage more students in that program in the future. It worked for those kids. And we also have the One Goal program, and this is a partnership we have through the state. Right now we have 1 cohort of students who are going to be moving on to college, and what the One Goal program does is it sets the kids up with a mentor for their first year of college and follows them to try to help them be more successful. I think we all know that the attrition rate in first year of college is very high. A lot of kids don't have the support that they need in order to be successful, and the purpose of the One Goal program is to help kids find more success. So Katie Sinnott is a math teacher at the high school. She's the One Goal teacher for this current cohort. She will stay in communication with these kids through their first year of college, and their college mentor will stay in touch with them. And we're hoping that by bridging that last year of high school into the first year of college, we can help more of those kids complete and be successful at the college level. Next year, we will have a second cohort of kids, and I can't remember, of juniors, and that's, I forget which teacher is going to, Erin Cronin will be teaching that group, who is our state teacher of the year, by the way, from. So we've got, they've each got about 15 kids in each of those cohorts, so we'll have 30 kids we're following after next year. Pushing for success. And then again, that piece about analyzing the data, because we don't have it yet, is a work in progress. And that's it.
Any members have any questions?
Just a thank you
Ms.
for
Ty?
a well-presented document and giving us and everybody else the good news about what's going on in Revere. Thank you. We have the showcase, we have these, we have all of the things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ty. Any other members? Next item on our agenda is the student representative report. Henry, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. Not many updates to discuss, considering it's almost June. Seniors' last day is this Friday, June 1st, meaning this will be my last meeting as student representative. Prom will also be that Friday night. There will be graduation rehearsals June 4th, 6th, and 7th in the morning, with graduation June 7th at 6 p.m. at the stadium. Overall, this year has been amazing. We have had haunted hallways, sports fundraisers, wins against Winthrop, talent show, Mr. RHS, student showcase, Monopoly, an amazing crop of athletes, and another year of a smooth ride through Revere Public Schools. I just wanted to say thank you for having me as student representative, and I will see you all at graduation. Any final questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Thank you, Henry. Any members? Mrs. Rizzo.
Henry, just want to say thank you for everything that you brought forward to us. You know, you worked hard trying to get student voice to us, and you've done a good job. But we're so happy that you're moving on to bigger and better things, but never forget where you came from, and we hope to see you back here as soon as you finish your college career and come back to the community and give back to everyone that's given to you to get you this far, because it does take a village. But very proud of the young man you have become, and really sad to see you go.
Thank you. I will definitely stop by through one of the meetings. I cannot guarantee that I will stay the whole time, but I will stop by one of the meetings next year.
Hey, at least he's honest. I appreciate it.
I think the committee should make a motion that Henry has to give us an annual update on his current status.
Yeah. But we should have an alumni event.
That's right. That would be
We should have an alumni event. Any other members?
Henry, where are you going to school? Tell us a
Ms.
little bit
Ty.
about what your career will be.
So I will be going to Bridgewater State, and I will be doing aviation with a concentration in flight training. Yeah. So my goal is to, in around 6 years' time, have my commercial license and become a pilot. But then I'm at like a confusion state right now where I might want to do graphic designing, might want to become a paraprofessional with special education. So let's see what else I can do besides that. But yeah, that's my number one goal. Thank you.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Henry, I just want to thank you for your time here with the school committee, and I want to congratulate you on graduating from RHS next week and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, means a lot. I will be out of here, out of your hairs. 13 years too long. Don't you guys worry, I'm out next week.
We will miss you.
We will miss you. We'll hold you to that commitment that you're gonna come back and come to a meeting. And you don't have to stay for the whole time, but we'll get we can get a representative report from you maybe each year. That'd be great. So thank you for what you've added to our meetings. Appreciate it. The next item on our agenda is public participation. Anyone from the public like to participate? No? Okay. Seeing none, we will go to the consent calendar. Are there any items on the consent calendar that we'd like to take off for public? No? There's a late motion, right?
Okay, all right.
Right, there's a late motion. So we will take a roll call on the consent calendar.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo?
Yes. Next item is the report of subcommittees. Mrs. Rizzo.
Okay, we have a few. Sorry, Henry, you're here for a little bit longer. First, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the policy subcommittee minutes from April 26, 2018, so that Ms. Panzini can get them online. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi? Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Ms. Ty? Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo?
Yes.
Okay, the first one are amendments, and whatever you would like to do, your wish, I can group them all as one and do one vote, or I can do each one for a vote for each. It's up to you. For amendments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We take them up as one vote. Package them
okay.
as one vote.
Okay, First Amendment is JIB, and it involves student involvement in decision-making. We had discussed the pros and cons of the policy requiring participation in Student Government Day. It's not the purview of the school committee to discuss what the student government body does. The only, we're in charge of student advisory, not in charge, but the student advisory is what we cover under the state law. So what we're asking is to remove the paragraph, to take the Student Government Day out of the school committee policies. Anyone have any questions on that one? Comments? Next one's JICH, and that's on alcohol, drug, and tobacco. And this one is just because we now have CBERT screenings, by law, we have to include that in our policy, so it's just adding to the policy about the CBERT screenings. Anyone have, SBERT, CBERT.
Any members?
I'm not an acronym person.
Any questions from any members?
Okay, next one is, it's not one of our policies, it's the Pregnancy Fairness Act as of April 1st. It requires the word of being pregnancy or pregnancy-related conditions to be added to the following policies. AC, which is non-discrimination, GBA, equal employment opportunity, GCF, professional staff hiring, GB, equal education opportunities, and JFBB, school choice. So it's adding the words pregnancy or pregnancy-related conditions. We're also asking for the language to be added to the Revere Public School handbooks, which we'll overlook towards August anyhow. So, any questions? Next one, JJF, student activity accounts. And that is just adding, this is normally done every year, but the words itself is not in the policy, and it says shall annually prior to the start of each school year. It's always been the practice to do it at the beginning of the school year, but we don't have it in the policy, so it's just saying annually. Any questions? JLCD, administering meds to students. And this is just adding the word Narcan, I can't even speak, Narcan to our policy that's already existed. Any
Okay.
questions?
No questions?
So I am going to ask for a motion to, we as a subcommittee for policies are recommending that we accept these changes to the policy manual.
Okay, motion, second, roll call.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Arrigo?
Yes.
The
Mrs.
next
Rizzo?
two are,
Sorry.
sure.
I'm just thinking for parents at home, the mention of Narcan might be a little bit startling, and if we share more of that policy, they'll understand the context, and that it might be helpful if we read a little bit more just of that one specific one.
You want me to go looking for it? My goodness. I don't have it. Okay, so originally, our policy says subcommittee members, no, this isn't it. I don't have the whole policy in front of me.
But if I remember correctly, the gist of the policy is that our nurse's office will maintain all kinds of medication for students.
The stock
and
medicine.
that they will stock particular medicines that are commonly used, such as EpiPens for kids who might have allergies, and that this adds Narcan to that.
Thank you for that clarification. The last ones are adoptions, and when we have.
So we voted on the 5 that were discussed by Mrs. Rizzo.
Okay, adoptions, we need to read them, and then we vote on them the following month, so that everyone can have their homework and be educated on what we're bringing up. These will all be posted on the website for anyone to look at. The first one is GBFBD, online fundraising and solicitations for crowdfunding, which has become hugely popular in every school system. And that's when a lot of our staff will use GoFundMe, Donors Choose, Kickstarter, You Caring. But to reel in a lot of, first of all, I'm going to thank Dr. Kelly and Dr. McCober, because they reached out to other school systems that have already put this in place. I'm looking for the policy. For the most part, anything that the teachers are asking for with these crowdfunding fundraisers are supposed to go in front of the school principal first for an okay. Also, they would need to, any of the supplies that are purchased and approved through the GoFundMe page and the principals are to remain in the building that is specific to what the needs were made, the request was made for. So, if another teacher was to move to another building, or, even move to another school district, those still remain the property of Revere Public Schools. So this will be posted for 30 days, and then we can vote on it for the next month, on the next month's meeting. And so then the next policy would be EFD, and that's a meal change policy. It's become big in the news, and it's about time that a lot of this got curbed, with children being denied meals because they didn't have enough money. But most of our students used to get cheese sandwiches or an alternate meal when their balance exceeded $15. This has been completely removed from the policy. It was clarified that administration will make phone calls to the families to address the negative balances. The assistant principals will send home notices monthly to notify parents of any negative balances. And also, a negative balance, if a student does have a negative balance, they just would not be allowed to buy a la carte items at the high school. So, yes, they can get a meal, you want them to have a meal, but that bag of chips that looks really good is going to be off limits. That's all been discontinued. So this information will be put in the student handbooks once voted upon at the next meeting, so that it can have, the families can have this information for next year. So 30 days, we'll put it online. Members will give you a copy of each one. Robin will send them out to each and every one of us. And if we have any questions in the meantime, feel free to ask.
Ms. Franti.
Stacy, if a parent runs a negative balance and never gets it even, we just keep carrying that balance for the whole year, or is there some point where it stops?
No, no student will be denied a meal.
Okay.
So I can say that most of our families are very responsive, and when they get a letter from the assistant principal saying that there is a balance due, they respond. I can tell you that the handful of families who maybe don't have significant financial distress, and we try to work with them in other ways to make sure that they have what they need and make sure that they can register for some services if that's what's needed.
Dr. Kelly, are there a lot of negative balances, would you say?
There's not a lot. There are a lot of kids that owe $1 or $2. Do you know what I mean? And those families will get caught up by the end of the year. There are very few kids that owe a significant amount of money.
Thank you.
Mrs. Rizzo. Anything else? All done?
You're lucky, I'm done for now.
Can I just briefly thank Mrs. Rizzo and her committee, because especially with that, the lunch program, I think it's a much more humane policy that they've crafted now. It always tore at me to know that we had a rule that if a kid didn't have money, we would take the food out of their hand, put it in the trash, and hand them a cheese sandwich. So I have to applaud her subcommittee and this committee for agreeing that that's a practice we should end in Revere.
Well, it was everyone, and you hear about it way too often, and once you hear it somewhere else, you just, and I thank Dr. Vidala for working on this portion also, along with Dr. McCover and Dr. Kelly, because they got a lot of information from what other districts are doing, and it just pieced together a lot easier, and, no, thank you. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Mr. Visconti.
I have something to, I'd like to, as chair of the plant maintenance, on another note, I should say, as chair of the plant maintenance subcommittee, I'd like to mention that there was a very productive landscape cleanup of the Garfield School today. I'd like to give special thanks to the collaborative effort of the mayor, Dr. Kelly, Maintenance Supervisor Carl Svensson and his team, DPW Paul Argenzio, Superintendent, Garfield teacher Jay Horgan, who I believe spearheaded that. Then there was some community volunteers, Daniela Nowicki and Joni Brown, and most important, all of the Garfield students who took part in the cleanup. I just received an email, and I feel the need to kind of share it with you all. Hi all, I just wanted to relay what a successful day we had today. The school looks wonderful, the students were unbelievably helpful, and the city really came through. What a beautiful day. Just in closing, I must say it's nice to see the community join forces and come together to do things for the betterment of the school as well as the community. So I applaud everyone that took part.
Thank you, Mr. Visconti. Under your leadership as the chair of the plant maintenance subcommittee, this is something that kind of got brought up, and Dr. Kelly and I have spoken about the 3 schools that are not currently under a maintenance contract, and the city working to find the funds to get those schools, so Lincoln, Beachmont, and Garfield, to have maintenance contracts so that they do get the kind of tender loving care that they deserve.
Sure.
Because of the great things that are happening inside those schools, we should reflect that on the outside. And so when schools get new mulch and get a spring cleanup, it should be included. Every school should have that. And so we have kind of figured that out, and under the leadership of our DPW superintendent, we're going to make sure that that happens. And Dr. Kelly has been more than helpful in kind of understanding that should be a priority, and that the way that the school looks outside should reflect what happens and all the great things that are happening inside.
So,
Dr. Kelly.
and I'll just add that I wasn't able to get by until later in the day. I got there around 1 o'clock, and Danielle and Joni were still at it. They're unbelievable all day long. They were amazing. They were speckled with black, and they said, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, I'm kind of having a bad day." They said, "Oh, come and hang with us." And I was on a team with 4 kids, and we picked up some piles of mulch, and I wasn't necessarily dressed appropriately for the job, but it changed my whole day. I have to say that, just being with the kids and being out there with these parents who are giving their time. And I know that Danielle and Joni are part of the Revere Beautification Committee, and they had given up their whole day. It was pretty amazing. And then Mr. Horgan, I have to throw kudos out to him again too, because his environmental science class is the one that came up with that idea to do the work. So it's pretty amazing. And as the mayor already mentioned, Paul Argenzio on the DPW, I know Jimmy Sacuzo from our own maintenance team was out there all day. Having the city dedicated and now hopefully having a real landscape maintenance contract with these schools will help the kids feel like they're coming to a place that's as warm and welcoming as they feel when they're inside with their classroom teachers. So thank you all.
We are on to old business. Is there any old business? None? New business, Mr. Ferranti.
Okay, we're having a public hearing for school choice. I'm going to read the notice right now. The public hearing, notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of Section 61 of Chapter 71 of the Mass General Laws that the Revere School Committee will conduct a public hearing on Wednesday, May 30th, 2018 at 6 p.m. in the Emmanuel M. Ferranti School Committee Room located on the first floor of Revere High School, 101 School Street, for the purpose of discussing and voting the enrollment of non-resident students, also known as school choice, in the Revere Public Schools. So moved.
I will now open up the public hearing to any proponents. Seeing and hearing none, I will close that side. Now open up to any opponents. Seeing and hearing none, close that side, and open it up for discussion among the school committee. Mr. Franti?
I believe at this time that the school committee should vote no on not allowing any residents to come into our school system. Non-residents, non-residents.
Okay.
No one's allowed.
And,
No one's
uh,
allowed, period.
Nobody can-
I'm throwing everybody out.
Thank you, Mr. Franti. Just to clarify, a no vote is, a no vote is, would.
Other way, a yes
A
vote.
yes vote, sorry. My apologies.
Okay.
A yes vote will make sure that the district is not part of the housing, the school choice program.
So, and if I could just add to that, I want to, what Mr. Ferranti is saying is, I think, a very good point. As we all know that right now, we have some size constraints in the district, and every single one of our schools is overcrowded. And we certainly owe it to the children of Revere and the families of Revere and the taxpayers of Revere to ensure that any seats that we have are taken by students who live in Revere and not by students from outside of the city. We have a heart department that works very hard to make sure that that's the case and that only Revere residents are going to our schools. Especially at this time when we have a critical shortage of classroom seats already, it's important that we maintain that. And so I would strongly urge all committee members to support Mr. Ferranti's motion and affirm that we should not join the school choice movement.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Franti?
No.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Sorry.
Mr. Franti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Rigo?
Yes. Okay.
If not, we're going to have an influx of a lot of students.
The next item on the agenda is school committee interests. Mrs. Rizzo.
Sorry, Henry. Just to let you know, last Saturday held a workshop for students on student leadership. I did this workshop alongside with the MASC. It was held at Danvers High School. I was honored to have 3 students from the high school come with me to the workshop, and we had students from approximately 16 different cities and towns. I have to say, though, I felt really bad for our students. I picked them up first thing in the morning, told them I was going to buy them some breakfast first, and that we serve amazing lunches at the workshops. But unfortunately, our students were celebrating Ramadan, so these poor students not only could eat, but they were up since 3:15 to make the workshop. So I was really proud because they did an amazing job. They're much better people than I'll ever be. Just to let you know, some of the things that the students brought up were, they were asked about what their goals would be for the high schools, and that's not just from this city, it's from 14 others. They asked, they talked about what they would, if they were in charge of the budget, what they would budget and what they would take away. And I have to say, mostly all of them talked about whether they had iPads or the other computers, laptops, Chromebooks. They all felt that it wasn't really needed. And that was even in this school. They said a lot of them bring their own from home. So they thought that was kind of a waste of money, which I was really surprised because I thought every student would like a nice, shiny Chromebook. They also talked about mindfulness of the stress that is related with the students when it's test-taking time and trying to keep up their grades in sports, and how some of the other schools do meditation techniques. They spoke about the starting times for schools, if early starting times were good for them or not good for them. They talked about food and nutrition. They talked about new and expanded extracurricular activities. So I was really impressed and really amazed how much, if you sit there, I don't think I did it with my own sons growing up, but when you really sit there and listen to the students, you learn so much more. And I wish I did more listening to my sons than speaking to them. Because I really got a great joy of the ride there, the ride home, and the whole time sharing the student's voice. So, they're a great class coming up, and I hope they take over from where Henry left off, and they make it bigger and better. So it was a nice time.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Any other members? Seeing none, we'll move on to motions. Mr. Franti.
Mr. Mayor, I have a communication. It's from Mr. Richard Viscay, auditor of the city of Revere, regarding the Staff Sergeant James J. Hill School. Dear Mr. Viscay, at the meeting of the School Building Subcommittee held on May 22nd, 2018, and the School Committee held on May 30th, 2018, the following votes were passed. That we pay JBCI invoice number 911-90753 in the amount of $7,048.20 for LEED certification for school D and C review. So moved.
Roll call.
Mr. Ferranti?
Yes.
Ms. Gravellisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes.
Ms. Ty?
Yes.
Mr. Visconti?
Yes.
Mayor Rigo?
Yes. I believe that's it for motions. We are not going into executive session. At this point, we will, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
And we will plan on having our next meeting June 22nd. 26th, my apologies, June 26th. Till then, have a good night.